Thanks for joining us on 13 News at noon. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan, and right now we want to make sure you're up to date on some of the latest breaking news that's coming in today from the nation's capital. It was just hours ago that the Senate Finance Committee advanced Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination to be the Secretary for Health and Human Services. The vote narrowly passed through the committee with members voting 14-13. The nomination now moves to the Senate floor. A confirmation vote could drop as early as next week. And other breaking news that we're following right now at noon. There are two sources that's telling NBC News President Trump's administration is preparing an executive order to eliminate the U.S. Department of Education. Right now, we're still gathering details surrounding this claim, and once we learn more, we'll bring it to you. Right now, we're learning more about retaliatory tariffs that are coming from China. President Trump made an agreement with Canada and Mexico to hold off on 25% tariffs. But starting on February 10th, China is moving ahead with imposing an additional 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas and a 10% tariff on other imports that include crude oil. Today, a U.S. 10% tariff on goods coming here from China goes into effect. According to the Census Bureau, some of the most imported items that the U.S. has coming here from China include cell phones, computers, toys, furniture, and appliances. In the meantime, Canada and Mexico agreed to crack down on the border and also fentanyl trade. Karen Campbell spoke with an economist who says there are three scenarios when it comes to tariffs. One that could benefit Indiana and one that could lead to inflation.
President Donald Trump has vowed to impose 25% tariffs on items from Canada and Mexico and 10% on products from China. Canada's Prime Minister striking back, announcing a 25% retaliatory tariff on U.S. goods.
If tariffs stay in place a long time, that's going to increase the price that we pay for everything we get from these trading partners.
Indiana University Kelley School of Business professor Phil Powell says that's because U.S. importers pay fees or a tax when their shipments arrive and are likely to pass on some of the costs. The list includes cars, lumber, food, beer and alcohol, electronics, home appliances, and more. According to the Indiana Manufacturers Association, Canada is Indiana's biggest trading partner, representing 27% of the state's total goods exports. In a statement to 13 News, the association said tariffs will impact this critical industry. Powell says there is another option that could benefit Indiana.
And if these tariffs are on the books for just a few weeks, or even just a couple of months, and there's some really good deals that are made, then the tariffs will reverse themselves, and Indiana exporters will actually have a stronger market position in the long run.
Powell says businesses could have access to markets they didn't have before, and it will take time before any impacts could be felt by Hoosiers.
Powell says Hoosiers are understandably concerned about the potential impacts on everyday items, but again, he's hoping the White House can strike a deal. Places like liquor stores and restaurants are going to be on the front end of effects from the new tariffs. 13 News stopped by a liquor store and learned that in the past, tariffs did in fact have the result of pushing customers away. Kahn's Fine Wine and Spirits has been locally owned here for more than 45 years. The GM there says that during previous tariffs, they saw prices for certain wines go up and then stay there. Now he says new taxes on imports from Canada and China will raise prices for popular brands like Crown Royal, and taxes on Mexican imports will raise the price of tequila.
This one I run best pricing in the city on, but I probably won't be able to do that when and if the tariffs get hit.
But he says given the inventory turn, you likely are not going to be paying more for another 3 to 6 months. So you do have several options. They include finding domestic alternatives or opting to stock up now. As we continue to follow the latest developments on tariffs and how you'll be impacted here at home, we're going to be updating you on air and online at WTHR.com. We even have there some more information surrounding new tariffs on our website if you go there right now, WTHR.com. It's Tuesday. Let's take a live look outside at the noon hour. Yesterday was one of the warmest days we've had in a while, but as Sean predicted, there is a chilly change that is here today.
Yeah.
And when we look ahead tomorrow, perhaps a messy mix. We got that alliteration all down.
Yeah, we do our best there. Yeah, 68 was our record-breaking high yesterday. Today, the wind chill, as we'll get to it in a moment, makes it feel about 30 degrees cold.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a little cold on the dog walk.
it was a little bit brisk here, so hope you had a chance to enjoy it. We've still got some sunshine, though, mixing with a little bit of cloud cover. Show you the visible satellite, and you can see, easy to point out that the wind is coming from the north. You can see the cloud direction, north to south here. So, yeah, we flipped the script as expected. 36 this hour in Kokomo. It's 40 degrees here in Indy and 41 in Shelbyville. So the temperature is about 20 degrees colder than 24 hours ago, but the wind makes it feel even colder than that. So nothing harsh. This is February, by the way. It's just that quick change from spring to winter reality that grabs your attention here. So 40 with the northeast wind at 10. It's quiet as you get home from work and school today. It is going to be brisk here. So we're quiet now. I think we're going to be quiet tomorrow morning before we start to see the impacts of this weather system coming in from the west and southwest. You can see some winter weather advisories. Now, I will tell you, we're going to be right on the cusp of advisory criteria in parts of our area. I'm going to dive in a little bit closer on this mix that we're going to have, to time it out, which area will be the most impacted. And we've got 2 more systems after this ahead in a busy 7-day forecast.
All right, Sean, thanks so much. Other news now. Right now, there are 2 Indiana schools that are pivoting to e-learning today, all to keep students safe. It comes after an increase in respiratory illnesses. Northeastern Wayne schools are having a synchronous learning day today and tomorrow due to, quote, excessive staff and student illness. Horizon Christian School says more than 20% of their staff and students are either out sick with the flu, norovirus, or even pneumonia. 13 News spoke with a local pediatrician here in Indianapolis. Dr. Eric Yancey told us he's seeing a lot of people with illnesses, and schools, he says, are the perfect breeding ground for getting sick.
But in certain situations, again, immunocompromised, underlying illnesses and things like that, it's harder for the body to kick it out, and therefore you are susceptible to more complications.
And what makes it tricky, Dr. Yancey says, is that many times people are already sick before the flu symptoms even start to show up. So it's important to take preventative precautions, wipe down surfaces, and make sure wash your hands regularly. A dog now is under quarantine this afternoon after biting multiple kids at a school in Lawrence on the northeast side. Police confirmed to 13 News the dog bit 4 Harrison Hill Elementary School students and a teacher all before noon yesterday. They say it happened during recess. The school nurse checked everyone out and they were released. Lawrence Township leaders alerted parents of the situation. The dog then was caught and now will be quarantined for the next 10 days. A Johnson County man will spend 10 years in jail after stealing millions of dollars and several homes. James Henley of Greenwood is now pleading guilty to several charges that include aggravated identity theft and 8 counts of wire fraud. Authorities say he engaged in several schemes to steal almost $3 million and 5 homes in Indianapolis. In addition to his prison sentence, Henley now is ordered to pay nearly $2 million in restitution and serve 3 years of supervised release. Here in Indianapolis, the City County Council is considering a new snow removal policy after many residents were left to fend for themselves when we had some back-to-back snowfalls last month. It was just a few weeks ago that many of you were digging out of the snow in below freezing temps. Hundreds of city streets took days to clear. Others were never touched, including many residential roads. Now, Democratic Councilor Jared Evans is sponsoring a proposal. It's Proposal 69. He did this after receiving dozens of complaints from constituents. Now, under the proposal, DPW would be given 60 days to change the policy from only focusing on major connector streets to plowing roads that include residential ones after we have 4 inches of snowfall.
So what this proposal is going to do specifically, we've put a threshold. We're saying at 4 inches of snow or more, we want our residential streets included in the process.
So this proposal is now in process. It heads to the Public Works Committee. If it's approved there, it would then return back to the full council for a full vote in March. Right now, we're learning more about some internal conflicts within the council. Democrat Jesse Brown, who currently serves District 13, was voted out of the Democratic caucus. Councilor Brown says his push for transparency is what put him at odds with his colleagues. So we reached out to that caucus for a response. And a statement that was sent to 13 News says, in part, when any member focuses on falsehoods, makes inappropriate accusations, and undermines the collective benefit of our shared work, their approach does not align with the principles of the caucus.